Great. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. Today we're gate crashing Ken's midweek media conference to say thanks and recognise a significant chapter in the history of the Port Adelaide Football Club after 13 seasons as our coach. When Ken was appointed, standing alongside David Koch and Keith Thomas in 2012 in a different version of this building, we had a club fighting for relevance in the AFL and a heartbroken playing group who'd tragically just lost a teammate. Ken immediately built belief into his players and gave a hungry supporter base something to believe in again. He built immediate momentum on field in 2013, playing finals for the first time since 2007, with a win against Collingwood at the MCG in that year. Over the next 13 seasons, there have been some amazing highs. By the numbers, 281 home and away games for 167 wins with a win percentage of almost 60%, which ranks incredibly highly in the AFL era. 7 final series, 15 finals and 4 preliminary finals. Plus some incredible moments. The first AFL showdown at Adelaide Oval in 2014, taking AFL footy to Shanghai and China from 2017 to 19, and then of course navigating COVID in 2020, which Ken, I actually think you enjoyed. We've given it everything, but it hasn't come together at the right end of the year, and we now prepare for the next chapter. Ken's always put the club first and had an eye to winning now, but also winning in the future. He's built a fantastic platform for Josh Carr and our playing group, and the profile of our playing group, when healthy, is young and super talented, positioning us really well for success into the future. Ken, I know the hardest part for you will be farewelling the players and the special connections you've built. Your genuine care for every player is real, and you mean so much to them in return. On behalf of all players, coaches, directors, staff, volunteers, our members, fans and partners, thank you for 13 years of unwavering commitment to the Port Adelaide Football Club. Finally, you couldn't do what you've done without the incredible support of an amazing family. To Donna, your children and your grandchildren, thank you for supporting Ken in allowing him to do what he absolutely loves. We wish you all the very best for the next chapter. Thank you, Ken Hinkley.
Go, Rich.
The moment's arrived. You remember you stood here at the beginning saying you were the best man standing. How do you feel when you're leaving it now? What are you now?
Yeah, I said that day I was the last man standing, didn't I? And, I said this early in February that I'm the right man leaving too now. So, we've had a great journey together, and it's been full of ups and downs, but one I'm incredibly proud of, and one that'll look back on for a long time and be, pretty excited about what was happening at Port Adelaide when we got here and when we left. It was quite a bit different.
What do you think your legacy is going to be?
Didn't make grand final. Didn't win one. That's probably what it'll be. That's the reality of football. We built the footy club up. We've done really well with lots of things. Ultimately we didn't quite get to the end, but you'd have to be pretty proud of what Port Adelaide Football Club is today.
How much does that sting that you weren't able to achieve the ultimate?
I wouldn't have talked about it if it didn't sting. It stings a lot. I mean, that's what you set out to do. I said basically before last week's game that you look at your results as a coach, and you ultimately your result is to get to a grand final, win a grand final. As harsh as that is, we didn't get there. So great, the winning record's great and everything else, but I wanted to win, and the club wanted to win, and we all didn't quite get there. So it's a little bit disappointing.
What are you going to miss the most, Ken? You can see all the players here, everyone's here. What will you miss most?
Not this. No, I miss the players. You miss the footy club, day to day. I woke up every morning for 13 years and drove in here, so I'll miss that. And I've been lucky. It's such a great job with what you do. You turn up and watch footy. It's not all that bad. There's some parts of it that are pretty average, but I'll just miss being here. That's real.
What stands out most in terms of highlights?
Oh, man, there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of highlights and probably hard to probably do them justice right now and just think about what they were. But I think year one's hard to beat. You know, when you come in and you didn't quite expect to get the job, and you know, not many people wanted the job, and landed on my feet luckily, and with KT and Koshy, and first year we made the finals. We went 5-0, and the only reason we lost in that year, in my belief, was because of Alan Richardson. I mean, I missed the game down at Tasmania against North Melbourne. We probably would have went through that year undefeated, I reckon, if only for that. But the start was pretty good. You know, 13 and 14 were great. You know, Phil Walsh, people like that. A lot of people that I've worked with over the journey. A lot of good things. The people you meet are as big a highlight as any of the successes you have. You know, and I leave with some really good people. I leave with Chad. I leave with Doc Fisher. You know, and you know, people who have had a lot of time together, and they're pretty big highlights, the people you meet, more so than ultimately all the results.
Danny, at the end of your, I reckon before round one of your very first week in charge, you said you just wanted Port Adelaide to be relevant again. Do you think that in your tenure Port Adelaide has become more relevant in the AFL?
We've been spoken about a lot, so probably means we are a little bit. Yeah, we're a better footy club. We're a better footy club. We're in a better position. We're a really healthy footy club. You know, we're building things. We're getting bigger. We're membership base is huge, so we're a pretty good footy club right now. But you know, we'll be a better footy club into the future, I'm sure too.
Can you take pride away from that?
Sorry?
Can you take pride away from that, even though I know, as you said, the grand final wasn't there?
Yeah, you do. I mean, you certainly do. I mean, it's not all doom and gloom, but ultimately, as I said, when you're in performance industry, that's what you got to do. But there's a lot of good things that have happened, you know, and we're in a much better position than we were. So that does give you some pride.
What does the future hold, Ken, for the?
Sorry?
What does the future hold, Ken, for the club in the next few years? Do you think, as you hand the reins over?
Yeah, well, I've been really bullish that the club's in a really healthy position, as Richo just touched on, you know, and for Josh and the changes that will come, which are really exciting changes. I think that's really important, and you know, the list, the youth, the talent that's coming through, and Richo rightly pointed out there, you know, a healthy list will certainly help. You know, the excitement in the place will come again, and that's what happens when you get new people in, and that's what we look forward to. But ultimately, Port Adelaide's future is really, really strong, and I've said that a number of times this year. The optimism about the future is great.
When can we sort of judge the succession plan? Sort of only halfway through, I suppose. Is the end of next year or beyond?
I think it's the future. I think it's not. It's, you know, there's a lot of things. You know, you can look at the ladder and say this year it's not been great, but that's a pretty small view. I think the bigger picture is what it looks like into the future, the transition, you know, Josh taking over and the people that Josh brings in, you know, the club continuing on being relevant and consistent in their performance. I think, you know, this footy club will be strong for a long time, and that will say that it was a really good decision.
You said after the game on the weekend that you were sick of it all and you
Yeah.
were glad it was finally here. What did you mean by that? And did you think, you know, some fans thought that was disrespectful?
Did they?
What did you mean by that?
See, I have some fans say a lot of things to me. I had one on the weekend walking down to the ground. He was pretty happy for me to leave, so that's okay. Fans have got their opinions. Sick of it all means that it's been a pretty challenging year when it comes to lots of things, and every second question coming up about it, I find it a little unfair, because we're the decision makers. We know exactly what's going on inside the footy club. And I get it that people have their opinions, but they don't actually know everything. So when you have to keep answering questions about other people's opinions who have probably this much of the information, that's what you get sick of.
What's your emotion at the moment, Ken? Is there any sadness this week, or is it nostalgic? Or
There'll be a little bit of everything, I reckon. I think there'll be a little bit of everything. There'll be some, you know, relief. There'll be clearly some reality. I think that'll be the one thing. I wake up on Saturday morning, I'm not the coach of Port Adelaide anymore. That's been a long time, so that'll be interesting. But you know, overall, I'm pretty relieved that this chapter is coming to an end, because I think it's absolutely the right time for it to come to an end, and you know, that's when you know it's okay.
What's the next chapter, Ken? What's for you a bit of a break? Will you stay in football, do you think, long term? What would you like to do?
Yeah, I don't know, Tommy. Hopefully I'll do something some stage, but as I said regularly, I'm not in a hurry to make that decision. I'll take the time to think about all those things, but if something comes up that feels really right, whether it's in football, not in football, I'm not quite sure, and I'm not even prepared to for what that might be, because I've said all along I want to do my job here first. And as of Saturday morning, I can I can move on with thinking about the next phase, but usually the next phase after a season finishes is holiday.
Yeah.
That's the first thing that I'll probably be thinking about is how to have a rest, get away from it. Don't have to take any of those calls.
Sorry, Ken. Matt, Friday night, big night with both Ken and Travis. Is it just about the football, or is there anything special to that night?
No, I think it's a really important night for our footy club and for our members and our fans to turn up and acknowledge some people that have been incredible contributors to the Port Adelaide Football Club. You know, Ken, Travis, as you said, Chad Corns also, who is a legend of Port Adelaide, will coach his last game on Friday night as well, and I know that there'll be a huge Port Adelaide crowd there to see those people off because of the contributions they've made to our club over a very long period of time.
And is there anything about the job that you didn't enjoy or didn't enjoy? I mean,
You don't want to ask that question.
I mean, is it a long list though? I mean, how do you balance out the screen?
No, I love the job. Ultimately, I love the job, but you wouldn't do it for that long. You know, there's parts of the job that you don't enjoy, but that chase, that thrill of victory, that will always keep you going as a coach, and it always kept you going. You know, there's parts that you woke up at, will it be 3 a.m. in the morning or what it was. You didn't want to wake up some mornings, but overall, the job's so satisfying and it's such a great job to have, and we're honoured to have that job as a senior coach for an AFL footy club. So there's parts that I didn't enjoy, sitting here, making it anything at all. I just like, as I said, for me it was just about the players and watching them win. The 5 minutes after a game when you get a victory with them it is enough. That is enough to drive you to keep doing this for your entire life. That's what I would say.
Ken, is there a moment in September that you keep living saying, I wish it changed to something different, so you then don't have to answer that question about what you didn't do here?
No, not at all. I mean, just you take the chance, you go there, and you're willing to get hurt to win. That's what you have to be. And if you're not willing to get hurt, don't turn up. And we as a footy club have always been willing to turn up, and we've had to take some hurt along the way. But who knows? Next time we turn up, hopefully it's the time when we break through.
You kept pretty private through that tenure, but how instrumental have Donna, kids and grandkids been through this?
Yeah, they've probably done it harder than me, I reckon, because they have to show the support, which is unconditional, which is not always the case in footy. I'm forever grateful. And that's probably enough about that. Let's move on to the next question.
When you look across the league and you see guys like Vossi, Nixie, and I'm sure many, many others, how much pride do you take in sort of playing a massive part in their journeys?
I was the reason. Vossi nearly got sacked. I reckon goes with my territory a bit, but Nixie's doing such a great job over there. So there's that, Phil. There's a lot of people you've been, but not only the people you've been involved with going on and coach, but there's been so many people throughout Chris and my journey together that we've had at our footy club, and there's a lot of them you'd like to be able to thank, and there'll become a time where you can thank them all. But again, basically proud of the whole journey in lots of ways, but missed a bit.
What's your parting message to the lads? What are you telling them when you close it all up?
Win Friday night, for God's sake. Give us a chance, boys. Let's go.
That's the immediate.
No, it's you got to make your chance. You got to make the most of your chances. Nothing's guaranteed. You got to turn up, and you've just got to keep turning up. And if you do, I've said it to you, Trav, a few times. You hopefully get what you deserve. It's been hard. We haven't quite got that, but all I know is you can't quit. And if you quit, you're never going to get it. So
You started your journey with so many great players. You've got relationships, I know, with all the players, but someone like Ollie, you had the first game together in 2013, round one. Do you reflect on those? I'm
a bit pissy with the AFL on that one, to be honest. I'd like Ollie to be there on Friday night. Tuesday night's not over yet, is it? Maybe we can get him there.
Chris, what are you going to miss about working with Ken?
Hey? Oh, I thought you said me.
No, thanks for asking that, because it was pretty uncomfortable for me for the last 5 minutes. Just thinking I was the looks up here. What was the question again? Sorry.
Is there anything you're going to miss about Ken?
No, there's plenty I'll miss about Ken. I mean, we've had a great relationship for near on 10 years now. We've worked well together. We've had a decent number of blues over time as well. But look, I'll miss a lot about Ken.
Obviously, big news yesterday with Naz committing to St Kilda. How big a blow was that for you and the club?
Look, we put our best foot forward, as we've done on a number of occasions over time. Sometimes you win these decisions and sometimes you lose. And unfortunately, we were on the wrong end of that yesterday, but that certainly doesn't diminish what I think our list is capable of into the future.
There's been some figures bandied around in the press that suggest that you guys are at the top end in terms of what you're prepared to offer. I know you guys don't want to necessarily go into specifics normally on these things, but is there any more clarity you'd like to offer on where that sits?
No, I think that some of the numbers have been well and truly overstated, but I'm not going to tell you exactly what they were, no.
You said to take it back to when you actually went for the job. You'd obviously been overlooked for a few others. And why did you throw your hat in the ring? Was it your wife saying?
No, it wasn't instant that I was keen to coach Port Adelaide. Based on the fact that I'd been for a couple of jobs, just missed out on a job with Richmond and maybe Geelong, I think, maybe at the end. So wasn't super keen, and we'd just settled in Queensland. I'd just happy up there. My family was happy up there. So, but overall, there was a bit of push from the family a little bit, but also from myself. Maybe one more time over crack. Probably thought I could have maybe got this job at one point, and didn't always feel like that when you went for other jobs. So landed on my feet, maybe got the right spot at the right time.
So was this sort of your last throw of the hat in the ring?
I don't know if it's the last one, but I'd been a couple of times, and missed out. So I don't know. Maybe I just had to be patient, and being patient paid off in the end.
Did you ever think you'd get here though, Ken, when you look back on your time as car salesman? It's been a pretty remarkable journey along the way.
Yeah, I've done some really average jobs, haven't I? No, I don't know. I don't know whether you never set out thinking you're going to be an AFL senior coach. There's not many of them, but I had a pretty strong belief that I wanted to be a coach, and I was pretty passionate about coaching all the way through, and even back to the days when I first went coaching at a small country club at Mortlake and coached my home local club at Camperdown, and the infamous Bell Park. I've coached them, and I've had some good times, and then back at Geelong. So I probably this is my 30th year straight coaching. So I go, I must have wanted to do it for some stupid reason, and I was pretty confident that coaching was something I really wanted to really try as hard as I could to get to the highest level I could. And luckily enough, I made it this far.
And how do you think Josh will? I mean, Josh obviously steps in. You've worked.
I don't think he'll be very good. I think he'll do an outstanding job. I've been really open and honest about what Josh has been to me over the last few years, and couldn't have wished for a better person to support me all the way through. And now time comes for him to step up and take his turn at the wheel. And I just hope so much that he can get Port Adelaide where they want to go. And I'm sure he's going to give it one hell of a shake.
Any parting words of advice to Josh?
Don't lose. You don't get to lose very often before they come for you. So don't be in a hurry to get successful, Josh. Take your time. Years 13 and 14 set us up to be pretty good, but the heat come a bit quicker after that. So he'll do an outstanding job. Players will love him.
Was there any times over the journey where you thought you might not get here because of losses mounting up, or you maybe trying to go somewhere else?
No, most weeks from about 2016 on, I reckon. It felt like there was always some pressure. Like, we've been a really successful footy club, particularly in the last 5 years, where we've won a lot of football matches. But there was plenty of times, it seemed like after every loss, it was like, it's time for you to go. And we were being pretty successful. Well, ultimately hadn't won. So, I'm staggered that I survived this long, to be honest. I've had great support from this man, particularly beside me on the left, and Richo on the board all the way through. But I wouldn't have got through without Chris. There's absolutely no doubt about that.
I think in your opening press conference, you actually said that stability was a major key to success. You only had a couple of CEOs. You've had David there the entire time. Chris has been there a long time. How important has just that in general been?
Yeah, I think it's the most critical piece of a successful AFL footy club. you know, I think if you're continuing to change everything all the time, throwing everything out, you never actually get to build towards success. And stability is massive, and our footy club's done it really, really well. And the future is, as I said, is bright, and hopefully that's what Josh gets, the same stability all the way through, and it'll set him up for the best chance to be successful.
There's been other recently departed coaches that were around for a long time that then reverted back to being calling themselves the person from the club that they actually played for. Will you consider yourself a Port Adelaide person from here, or a Geelong person, or? Yeah,
I think today it's Port Adelaide for certain. And, you know, it just feels like I almost can't remember the Geelong days. You know, and that seems a bit harsh because we're involved with a couple of premierships there as a coach, and then obviously played there. So your most recent history is probably the strongest, and for me, 13 years is a long time to be at Port Adelaide. So I don't know. Luckily enough, I think the right answer will be I'll be able to reflect on more than one club and be really happy that I played or represented those clubs as well as I could. All good. Thank you.
Thanks all.